So once again, good morning to everyone. So let us start the fifth session. My voice is audible. Can anybody answer?
Audible.
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Yes, yes. Are you able to see my slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
It is visible, sir.
Okay. So in this session, I will see some of the sort strategies. Specifically, I will focus on informed sort strategies, right? And uninformed sort strategy is already covered by Dr. Manjuwala BC Madam, right? So in this session, we'll start with yesterday's problem. I told you about single state problem, multi-state problem, contingency problem, right? And exploration problem. So we'll start with a single state problem. Then we'll see how to search for the solution. Then briefly, I will explain about the difference between uninformed and informed search strategies. Then we will focus on few informed search strategies like best first search and A star search and AO star search and another search as I mentioned in the previous session. So we'll focus on SMS star, that is simple memory bound search A star. Okay, come to this single state problem. Yesterday we have taken a problem of a vacuum cleaner, right? In which you have two different sides, right? Or two part of a particular room or two different rooms. So our objective is to clean the floor of both rooms. So we are applying two different operations, four operations. One is left moving, right moving, soft and no operation. So these four operators we are using to clean the surface of both the rooms. So let us see another type of problem, and most of the examples whatever today we'll discuss, that is based upon the Romania. Romania is a country, right? Romania map we will concentrate. I'll show you the map first so that you will not be confused. So this is the map. This is the map of Romania, right? And as you are seeing, these are the different cities of Romania, a Romania map, right? So a brief sketch about Romania country's map is given here with a set of cities. So we'll mostly focus on this map in informed search strategies, so that you can easily learn how the search is working in the informed search strategies. Before that, so this problem we'll discuss in I told you in each and every problem you have to specify what is your initial state. So initial state is nothing but where you start. Yesterday also I told you about an example. Suppose I want to travel from Hyderabad to New Delhi, right? In between there is a city, let's say Nagpur, another city, let's say Bhopal. Okay, so I have to start my journey from Hyderabad only. So my initial state is nothing but Hyderabad, right? So similarly, in Romanian map, we have to start our search strategy. We have to start our search from a city called Arad. Okay, let me call it by A. Okay, from the now onwards, I will represent each and every city by its first letter. So my initial state is now A, right? So as I mentioned here, a problem is defined using four terms. First term is you have to specify your initial state. You concentrate on any problem, you have to first state what is your current state, what is your initial state. Generally, initial state we have to first concentrate, then you have to move to the next state. Okay. So the second item what we require, that is called successor function. How I will start my journey from Hyderabad to next is Nagpur. Okay, so for that I am using successor function. For example, I am traveling from Hyderabad to Nagpur by train. So I have taken for that journey, I have taken a successor function. The successor function is nothing but S of x, where x is nothing but your current state. So initially, your initial state is your current state. So you have to put S of R, right, or S of A. A is a city name. In my example, it is S of Hyderabad. Then once you are applying some function, why you are applying? You are changing your state from one position to another position. For example, a student is appearing on examination in the after end of the first semester. Once his examination is clear, he can move to the second semester. So we can consider our examination system is also called as a successor function. right? So if you see this example, if you apply successor function on the initial state or initial city, okay, where you are, so it will move you to some city called Z. So A is your initial city. Then after applying a successor function, you are reaching Z. Again, after reaching Z, you will apply a successor function S of Z. So you will reach to some other state. Similarly, your search will go on up to what? Until unless you reach a goal test. So what is our goal test? In this Romania map, the search strategy starts from A, and our goal is to reach a city B. Okay, in between A and B are not directly connected. As in our example, Hyderabad to New Delhi is not directly connected. So you have to digit some intermediate cities in order to reach New Delhi, right? So in this case, if you see the goal test, maybe implicit goal you may have, or you may have explicit goal. So explicit goal means I have to reach the B. Or if you consider the previous example, that is vacuum cleaner problem. So I have an implicit goal is there should not be no dot in both the surface or both the floors. Okay, so these goal may be specified in explicit goal or implicit goal. You have to explicitly mention or you have to implicitly mention, right? The fourth item, what you have to consider here, that is called your path cost. So whenever you are traveling from A to Z or Z to some other city to some other city, finally you have to reach to B, right? So whenever you are traveling from one city to another city, you have to incur some cost. Like I told you, I am traveling Hyderabad to Nagpur by train. So I have to incur some cost, right? So this cost you have to add in each and every, based upon the search strategies, you have to add the cost. For example, sum of the distance is a measure in order to calculate the path cost, or number of action executed, that can be also considered as a path cost, right? Similarly, if you see here, we are calculating the cost. C is the cost, X is your initial state, Y is another state, X is your initial state, Y is your next state, and how you are reaching from X to Y? By applying a particular action A. So C within bracket X A Y indicates your initial state is X. By applying a action A, okay, or by applying a successor function S of X, you are reaching to a city Y. So this is a cost function that you have to calculate. Generally, we assume that cost values are greater than equal to 0, right? So by applying these four items, finally we will get a solution, right? And a solution is nothing but our sequence of action, right? Yesterday also we discussed, I told a robot, right? You go straight for forward 1 meter, then move left for some meter, you work, then you move right, so that you can reach to your goal node. That is nothing but the solution. So a solution is nothing but reaching to the goal state by applying a sequence of operation from the initial state to the goal state. Now, let us take this example so that the idea is more clear, right? What is our initial state? What we have seen here, initial state is my A. ROD is my initial state. Okay, again I am repeating this A, S, T, whatever you are seeing this slide, A, S, T, Z, these are the cities that is available in a Romania map. Like India is having so many cities. Similarly, the problem concentrate on the Romania country map, in which these are nothing but the various cities. Okay, so once I am present in R, right, A, and my initial state is A. So what I will do, I will explore what are the cities that are connected to A. For example, Hyderabad too, there are so many cities are connected. Vijayawada is also connected to Hyderabad. Another, let's say Bangalore is also connected to Hyderabad. So I have to find who are the neighbor, or we can say successor of A. So after generating the path, or you can say from the city A, whether what are the cities that are connected by train, what are the cities connected by road, what are the cities connected by air, okay, that you can concentrate. Okay, so once I am expanding A, the first initial city is A. So whenever I am expanding A, what I am getting? I am getting 3 different cities. So these 3 cities are connected to A by some means, maybe road, maybe air, maybe railway, maybe any other mode. Okay, so once I will explore S and T and Z, then I have to choose one, right? I have to check whether A to S is possible or not. Again, how to decide? You can decide by the help of availability in the train, or the cost factor or the transport factor, whether the transport seats are available or not. Different criteria you have to concentrate whenever you are choosing whether S I have to choose or T I have to choose or I have to choose Z. And what is our goal test? As I mentioned, we have to move from A to B. Our objective is reach from A to B, where A and B are not directly connected. So we have to visit A to B. We have to connect we have to reach B through a intermediate cities. Okay. So once I have selected, you assume that by some means I have decided I have to move from A to S. Okay. So next what I will do, I will expand again S, right? I will see what are the cities that are connected to S. Like I told you, Hyderabad is my initial state. Then I move to Bhopal, then I move to Nagpur. Once I will reach to Nagpur, then I will again expand it in order to know that what are the cities that are connected to Nagpur, right? So once you expand S, let's say A, F, and O, R. These are the cities that are connected to S. But note that it is very important. We will discuss in upcoming slides also. Whenever you are expanding A is connected to S. So whenever you are expanding S also, A is again coming. Okay, you have started your journey from A is connected to S. It means that S is also connected to A because it is an undirected graph, right? So whenever you are expanding S, you have to again A will come. So you have to avoid this state. That is called as your repeated state. Otherwise, it will make a loop, right? That will discuss in the upcoming slides. So the idea is to define the problem. First problem is we have to initial state. The initial state is our A. Second is our successor function by which you can move from one city to another city. Third one is our goal test. Goal test we have picked B, right? Till now we have not reached B in this diagram. Fourth one is your path cost. How much cost you have incurred to move from A to S, or how much cost you have incurred to move from S to A or S to F. We will not choose S to A, S to F or S to O or S to R, whatever you will choose in this particular level. So these four things you have to do, and in order to reach from A to Z, you have to apply a set of action. So that set of action you can consider as a solution. Now, coming to, there are many ways you can represent these nodes. Okay, so we assume that the node is nothing but a data structure. We generally represent every node as a by data structure. Any data structure you can consider it. Like generally tree and graph we are representing to as it is a graph or tree. Okay, it consists of 5 components. What are the 5 components? First is state. What is state? Each and every cities can be considered as a state. A is a state, S is a state, T is a state, Z is a state. In this diagram, each and every city can be considered as a state. So a state in a state space to who is the node correspond to. What is our state space here? Our Romania map. The complete Romania map is nothing but our state space. Next is the node in the search tree that generated this node. This is called the parent node. Where we have to start? We have to start a parent node, which is nothing but our initial state. So the A can be considered as your initial state or the city where we will start our search. Then operator, what is operator? Operator is nothing but our successor function. So by which I am moving from A to S. I can move from A to S or I can move from S to F by applying a successor function. Fourth one is the number of nodes on the path from the root to this node. So for example, now I am present in F node. So how many nodes we have covered, or what is the total cost we have incurred from moving from my initial state to my current state F. A to S cost as well as S to F cost. You have to consider in order to say that in particular state F, how much cost you have incurred from the initial state to your current state. Initial state is your RR, so you have to calculate the cost from RR to S. Again, you have to calculate the cost from S to F. So that is, if you are present in F as your current state, so you have to calculate these costs. So that is nothing but the path cost from an initial node to the current node. And an important definition in the sort strategy, that is nothing but the collection of nodes that are waiting to be expanded is called as fringe or frontier. Let us take this example. Initially, RR is my city, right? I do not know about S, T, and Z, right? So RR is now present in my frontier, right? So now I am expanding RR. Whenever I am expanding RR, what I am getting? City S, city T, and city Z. But at this position, we have not explored S, we have not explored T, we have not explored Z. So here I can consider S, T, Z as a frontier or fringe. So the definition says that the collection of the nodes that are waiting to be expanded. So in the next level I am expanding S, or I will expand T, or I will expand Z. But till now, this point in the B figure, we have not expanded S, T, Z. So we will make a list. In that list, we will keep S, T, Z. Okay, so these are the nodes that is waiting to be expanded. Now, these four strategies are already explained. So I'll skip, but let me give 1 minute of time to cover. So completeness property, we have to compare each and every sort strategy using these four parameters, or you can say performance measure as discussed in the yesterday's class. Completeness that says that is the strategy guaranteed to find a solution when there is a one. So in a particular problem, all problem may not have solution, right? If a problem having a solution, whether your search strategy is able to find that solution or not. I'm not saying that solution is an optimal solution or no solution, or I don't know. So whether it is giving you optimal solution or close to optimal solution, that we do not know. But if a solution exists, whether your search strategy is able to reach that solution or not, right? Next is your time complexity. That is nothing but how long does it take to find a solution, right? And space complexity, how much memory is required. And I will explain these two later, right? But optimality says that suppose in a particular problem, let us take an example so that it is more clear. Okay, just a minute. Okay. Here. Okay, so let me write a equation. So for example, I am writing a equation 2x, okay, plus 3 is equal to, let's say, x plus 3. So can anybody say in the chart window how many solutions you will get for this equation? The equation is 2x plus 3 is equal to x plus 3. How many solutions exist for this particular equation? Please write in the chart window. Yes, it is infinite solution. Yes, it is infinite solution, right? For this particular problem, you will get an infinite solution. So there are some problems are there in which you will find infinite number of solutions, or more solutions, or 10 solutions, or 20 solutions. If you are finding such solutions, which solution is called as the highest quality solution or optimal solution, right? Which solution is the best solution, that you have to determine, right? For example, if you remember numerical method, okay, there is an algorithm called Newton-Raphson method. Yesterday also I told about perceptual history, in which I told about a particular procedure. So in Newton-Raphson method, suppose your solution is x is equal to 2, right? In Newton-Raphson method, if you solve a particular equation, the value x is equal to 2, right? But when you apply Newton-Raphson method for the same problem, for that problem the optimal value is x is equal to 2, right? But when you apply Newton-Raphson method or bisection method, you have studied in the mathematics or engineering mathematics, so you will get the value, let's say 1.9. Another solution you are getting, let's say 1.91. Another solution I am getting, let's say 1.95. So if I am getting such solutions for a particular problem, which solution is close to 2, that I have to decide in the optimal criteria. But make sure that it is the optimal solution. Okay, not the better solution. 1.9 is also a better solution. 1.91 is also better because they are close to 2. In comparison to, let's say, 0.9. For example, I am writing 0.9. Obviously, in comparison to 0.9, this 1.9 is a better solution. But what is the highest quality of solution, which is very close to, very close to 2 or exactly 2? So that you have to find in the optimality criteria. Okay, so this is the clear-cut difference between uninformed strategy and informed strategy, right? When you are searching using uninformed strategy, it is also called as your blind search strategy. You will not give any kind of preference. You should not give any kind of preference to the successor node generation as well as selection. Come to these examples to clear this idea. So whenever I am expanding A, what nodes are generated? S, T, and Z is generated. Okay, S, T, Z is loaded in where? In the frontier, right? I told you these are the nodes that is waiting to be expanded. Earlier A is there in the frontier, but now S, T, Z is present in the frontier and A is removed. Why A is removed? Because A is completely expanded, right? So if you see this example, while you are generating S, T, and Z, you should not give any priority to S or T or Z, as the search is a blind search algorithm or it is an uninformed search algorithm. You should not give any preference to S at any means. You cannot say that S is best or T is best or Z is best. Okay, either their generation you will not give priority, as well as in the selection of S, T, Z also you will not give any priority. You can say from the left side I am selecting S. Somebody will say that right side I am selecting Z. Somebody will say that in the middle I have selected T. That is your random one, right? But you should not give any kind of preference. Okay. So these are the sorts we have discussed. I will discuss this uniform cost sort if time permits, right? Okay. So inform sort strategy, you have little bit information, right? So while you are generating your successor is nothing but, in this example, SPZ is nothing but your successor of A. So you have some information. Some information about problem space is used to compute a preference among the children for exploration and expansion. When you explore a particular node, you have some information, or when you expand a particular node or any further node, you have some information. So in this category, we will focus on 4 search strategies, but this 4th search strategy I will cover in the next lecture. So in this lecture, we will cover heuristic function. First, I will tell you what is heuristic function. Then we will see how to apply best first search. Then what is the demerit of the best first search, which can be overed using A star search or SM star. Another is AO star search. So these I told you about in this problem. I told you whenever you are expanding A, so you are getting S, right? Again, whenever you are expanding S, as A is connected, city A is connected to S, S is also connected to A. So this is nothing but a repeated states. So in order to avoid the repeated state, what you have to do? You have to follow. There are 3 procedures or 3 ways. What is the first way? The first way says that don't return to the state you just came from. You came from A to B. Obviously, when you expand B, you will again get A. So as you have started your journey from A to B, so whenever you are expanding B, you will not return to your previous state. So in this way, you can avoid the repeated state. In the repeated state, this is the first way. Second is don't create a path with cycle in them. You define a path, for example, A, B, C, then A, right? Let us connect C with A. So this is a path A, B, C. A is another path, but this path is having a cycle. If cycles are there, so your source will not be complete. You will go for a infinite one. Okay, infinite path. Okay, so for that you have to avoid. So don't create any path with cycle in them. The last one says that don't generate any state that was ever generated before. If a state is generated, if the city A is already explored, so in this problem you will not explore A again. Whenever you are expanding S is expanded. So in future steps, whatever step you have to obtain after expanding S, make sure that you will not expand again S. So this procedure, if you follow, in somehow you can avoid the repeated steps. Now come to the best first sort strategy. In the best first sort strategy, we have to focus on a heuristic function. So what is the idea? The idea says that use an evaluation function. I told you in a student case, CGPA, SGPA is a evaluation measure, right? So for example, you are traveling from one city to another city. What is the time required to move from one city to another city? Or what is the cost required to transfer from one city to another city, that can be considered as a evaluation function. So we have to use evaluation function in each and every node. Whatever you have seen, A is there, other city is there, we have expanded, we got S, T, Z, 3 cities. In each and every node, you have to apply a evaluation function in the best first search. Why you are calculating this evaluation function? In order to estimate the desirability. For example, let us consider some national level examination like JEE examination, right? So in JEE examination, let us 5 people secure the same mark, right? 5 students appeared, they secured, let's say 93.22. Some mark we have calculated, they got 93.22. Now, how to give rank? We cannot assign the same rank, right? So there should be some strategy in order to break the tie among these 5 people. So like that, whenever you are generating the evaluation function, you also may find that your evaluation function, whatever you're calculating in 2 different nodes, the value is same. So you have to break the tie based upon some desirability, or out of all the nodes, whatever the evaluation function you have generated, estimate the desirability of that node. Expand the more desirable node. If you find the most desirable node which is not expanded means in this example, A is already expanded. In the second diagram, A is already expanded. In the third diagram, S is already expanded. Those nodes who are not expanded, that you have to give priority. Obviously, you will not give priority to the expanded node because it will lead to an infinite loop. Okay. So fringe, you know already the definition of fringe. So here we will concentrate on the greedy search as well as your A star search. Let us come to the greedy search. What is greedy search? Greedy is nothing but in a particular position, whatever your decision you are taking, that is called as your greedy search, right? And for example, you have 3 ways. For example, A, S, T, Z, right? Out of S, T, Z city, you are greedy about cities S, because S city is having your in S city, your some of your few friends are staying in S, so you are more interested to go to city S, right? So you are greedy about city S in comparison to TZ. So here we are introducing the evaluation function in the form of h of n. Don't be confused with this mathematical notation. I have just represented the evaluation function with h of n. That is called as your heuristic, right? So what h of n will do? H of n will do, it will estimate the cost from a particular node n to the closest goal, right? For example, I'll tell you this in the form of an example. Let me cover the theory within 5 minutes. Then we'll go through the example so the idea is more clear. So we have taken a heuristic function, right? In that heuristic function, you have to calculate in greedy search from your current node n to the goal node, closest goal node, that you have to calculate. But for the simplicity of the illustration or example, here we have considered SLD. SLD stands for straight line distance. For example, I'll tell you what is the straight line distance from Hyderabad to New Delhi, right? So that can be considered as your h of SLD of n. You are present in Hyderabad, that is nothing but your node n, right? And you have to reach to New Delhi, right? And what is the straight line distance? So h is nothing but your heuristic, n is your current state, SLD stands for straight line distance. And in this Romania map example, you know our objective is to reach to node B, right? Where you have to start your journey from a city A, and you have to reach a city B, right? And here we have considered straight line distance. So greedy search expand the node that appears to the closest to the goal. It always finds, for example, from city N, for example, let me say Hyderabad to New Delhi example, I have moved from Hyderabad to Nagpur. So once I reach to Nagpur, I will check that what are the possibilities are there, what are the roads that are connected to Nagpur to New Delhi, right? There are so many ways to reach the New Delhi. Out of these, I will choose one node by applying the greedy search, right? So there are 2 basic approaches. One is you have to find the closest node, that is to the goal, and another thing is that you have to find the least cost solution path. So out of 3 solutions, if one solution leads to less cost, you choose that particular node, that is called as greedy search. Okay, so this is the Romania map, right? So you check, you please note down in the right side, I'm giving 2-minute time. Please note down these values. These are the straight line distance. Okay, so here A city is there, that is RS city is present here, and B city is present here. So A is present here, right? B is present here. right? Right. What is this indicate? These values indicates these are nothing but the cities that are present in the map, that is starting from A, B, C up to Z. There are so many cities are there, and they are straight line distance to B. For example, I will tell what is the straight line distance from A to B, then you have to answer. The value is 366. If I'll ask what is the straight line distance from B to B, it is obviously 0. What is the straight line distance from C? You check where is the city C. Yes, there is a city C here. What is the straight line distance from C to D? C to B. So this is a straight line distance from C to B, right? Just assume that air connectivity. So that is nothing but 160. 160. Similarly, what is city D? Yes, here. What is the straight line distance from D to B? It is nothing but 242, right? So I request you all of you, I am giving 2 minutes of time, right? Now time is 11:37. So before 11:39, I request you to copy this value so that you can solve this problem. In between, if you have any doubt, you can write in your chat window. Please note down these values. These values indicate the straight line distance to city B. As your destination is B, the straight line distance from B to B is 0. Your destination is B, so this value is 0. Don't be confused why it is 0, how the distance is 0, because it is your goal node, right? That's why value is 0. In some other example, you declare, let's say Z is your goal node, so this value is 0. If you have any question, you can ask within 1 minute. Otherwise, I will take question at the end. Please note down these values. Okay, so we'll proceed. I hope you have written these values. Now come to the city. So, what is our initial city? Our initial city is A, right? Our initial city is A, and we have to reach the city B. So, I am taken a city A. Okay. So, best first search you are applying. Okay. So, what you have to calculate in the city A, you have to apply some evaluation function. Okay. I told you about evaluation function here. Evaluation function is nothing but h of n. H is why you are representing H? H is nothing but a heuristic. N is your current node. What is your current node? Initial node is generally our current node, the first in the very first step. So Rr is my current node. So I have to apply the evaluation function here. What evaluation function I have to apply? The evaluation function I told you I will apply straight line distance from A to B. What is the straight line distance from A to B? The value is 366. The straight line distance from A to B is 366. You can find from this particular slide, right? So I am writing, I have applied the evaluation function on A, and that value is 366. So that is nothing but our h of n, which is the statement. What is h of n says that estimate cost of the cheapest path from a state at node n. N is here nothing but your start state to a goal state, right? A to B, the straight line distance is 366. Now, after A, what I will do? I will expand A. You check the map. A is connected to Z, right? A is also connected to S. A is also connected to T, right? So you can say A is connected to 3 different cities, right? One is A is connected to S, A is connected to T, A is connected to Z. Okay, these yes, straight line distance is nothing but the aerial distance. Okay, I'll take questions later, right? Okay, so now I am expanding A, right? What I will get after expanding A, S, T, Z are the neighbor cities of A. So I have written S, T, and Z, right? So once you reach to S, T, and Z, what you will do? You have to apply the evaluation function, because in the previous slide I told you you have to apply the evaluation function in each and every node, right? Apply the function in each and every node. So here I am applying the evaluation function in each and every node. What is the evaluation function? That evaluation function is nothing but our straight line distance. So I have to calculate what is the straight line distance from S to B, what is the straight line distance from T to B, what is the straight line distance from Z to B. So see here, what is the straight line distance from A to S? Sorry, S to B.
253.
S is 253. Yes, you are correct. Okay, next one is T. Okay, T is nothing but 329 and
Yes,
Z
sir.
is nothing but 374.
24.
So the same value I have written here. Don't be confused, right?
Yeah.
253, 329, 374, whatever you have noted down. Okay, the same value I am writing here. After that, what I will do? You know that out of these three values, which one is minimum? S is minimum. The 253 value is minimum. So I have to select S, right? Then I will expand S node, right? So S is selected. Next I am expanding S, right? While expanding S, I told you, you see the diagram. Here it is, S is there. S is having degree. What is the degree of S? Degree of S is nothing but 4. One is O, another is A, another is R, another is F. I told you, whenever you are expanding a particular node, it may happen that the previous node will again come, right? If you select that previous node, then what you will do? You will be in a loop. So you have to avoid it by applying the repeated state mechanism. If the cost is not minimum, there is no issue, right? So after expanding S, I am getting A, F, O, and R, right? So what is the straight line distance from A to B? We will not consider this one. Just we are taking, for example, what is the distance from A to B? We are calculating. We will never take A because it is a loop. A to S, again S to A is a loop, right? If it is a minimum cost. So what is the cost from A to B? That is nothing but 366. What is the cost from next F to B? What is the cost from F to B? 178, right?
178, yeah.
See, in the book it is written 176. So if you are following Russell Norvig book, where I have copied this example, in that book it is written 176. So please correct it to 178, right? Otherwise you change the value here also in the map. Okay. So please correct in the book. So next is the distance from O to B. What is the distance from O to B? 380, right? Next, distance from R to B is nothing but 193, right? So which one is minimum? 176. Or sorry, 178. This is 178. Please correct it, right? 178. So can anybody say what is the demerit of this algorithm? What is the demerit of this algorithm? So first you have started from A, right? You have started from A, you have selected S, again you have started from expanded S, then selected F, as F is the minimum among A, F, O, R city, right? So you have not calculated any cost from A to S or S to F. Okay, whenever you reach to a particular state, you are only calculating from that state to your final state. For example, from Hyderabad to New Delhi, let's say the cost is 20, right? Some quantity, in some cost unit it is 20. So whenever I am reaching Nagpur, okay, I am calculating from Nagpur to New Delhi, right? I am skipping the cost from Hyderabad to Nagpur, right? I am calculating from Nagpur to Delhi. Let's say the cost is 15. Next, I am moving from, let's say, Nagpur to Bhopal. So once I am reaching Bhopal, the cost from Bhopal to New Delhi is, let's say, 10. So I am skipping the cost from Hyderabad to Nagpur, Nagpur to Bhopal. So these costs we are not calculating. We are calculating from our current state to the final state in order to take a decision. Just an informal example I will give you. For example, a person is having diabetes, right? From the last 5 years, right? He is having diabetes, right? Now a plate of sweet is there in front of him. So he is very greedy about to take some sweets from that plate, right? He is not remembering what disease he has in the last 5 years. Last 5 years he is having some disease, right? But he is not considering that disease. He is greedy to select, greedy to eat some sweets from that plate, right? So we are calculating from a current state to the final state, right? What scenario will happen? That will be decided between the current state to the final state without considering the start state to your current state. So till now your goal is not reached because you know your goal node is B. So I am expanding F. Whenever you expand F is here. Okay, you will again get S, and again you will get S and B, right? S is nothing but the previous node of your F. Okay, so when you expand, you know what is the distance from S to B is nothing but 253, and the distance from B to B is 0. So your path is nothing but A to S, S to F, F to B, right? So this is the path you have to follow, right? So here it suffers from the same defects of your depth first search as discussed by Dr. Manjuwala madam, right? It is not optimal because you are not considering the path from the initial state to current state. You are only focusing on the current state to the final state, right? Sometimes it may be incomplete. Where you will feel complete if there is an infinite path. In a depth first search, you are selecting one node. For example, root node is A. Okay, you are selecting S. Again S, you are expanding. You are selecting F. You are selecting F. You are expanding F, selecting a particular node. So it may happen that your goal node is present in some other site, right? Or in which you will get infinite path. You have to search in some direction, but you will never reach to your solution. So when there is an infinite path, your search is incomplete and it is not optimal. So here also the complexity is order of B to the power n. B is nothing but the breadth. For example, this example, A is generating 3 children. So B is nothing but 3, right? Suppose S is generating 4 children, right? B is nothing but 4, right? And M is nothing but the path. Maximum depth. This is the level 0, level 1, level 2, level 3. You have to consider. And the complexity in the Rost case is order of B to the power n. And the complexity of space complexity is also same as your time complexity. Those who are not comfortable in the time complexity and space complexity, just I'll give a very small example to understand this thing. For example, let us consider a for loop. So you know about the programming, right? So for loop we are writing to repeat a particular condition. If you do not know for loop, simply you understand that a student has to complete 8 semester. Okay, some coursework he has to do in each and every semester. So I have taken a for loop, right? I have taken a for loop, right? In which I have mentioned subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, and subject 4. And this for loop need to be repeated for 8 semesters. Because in each and every semester, the student has to read, let's say, 4 subjects. The same thing we are repeating. That's why we are taking a for loop, right? So if the for loop is repeated, let's say the for loop is repeated 8 times, right? So let me represent by n, right? Another for loop is inside that for loop. So I can call this is a innermost for loop, and the first one is a outer for loop, right? And this for loop is repeated for m times. Okay, just like you can assume that in each subject you have so many chapters, right? So assume that first semester, okay, first subject, first chapter, first semester, first course, second chapter, first semester, first course, third chapter, like that you have to go. So if you want to analyze the complexity of this two for loop, this for loop is inside this for loop. So you will get a complexity of order of nm. Okay, I will not tell you about what is order of nm because this is requires some algorithm background, but you try to understand it is repeated for n times. For each value of n, you are repeating m times. So the complexity is order of nm. Similarly, if you calculate, you will get the complexity is order of b to the power m. Now come to the next search, that is nothing but your A star search, right? The difference, the demerits of the greedy search, you know, I told you about the diabetes example. we are forgetting the last 5 years digits, but we are very greedy to choose some sweets. Similarly, in each and every current state, we are forgetting from the path cost from the start node to the current node, and we are calculating from the current node to the goal node. So that is the demerit which can be overcome in the A star search. Come to A star search. In A star search, what we will do in the previous search, you are concentrate only on this factor, that is H of n. That is greedy search. We are only concentrate on H of n. What is H of n? For example, this is Hyderabad, right? This is Nagpur, and this is New Delhi. So what you are concentrating? Initially, you are concentrating from Hyderabad to New Delhi. Next, once you reach to Nagpur, you are concentrating on New Delhi, Nagpur to Delhi, right? When you reach to Bhopal, you are calculating from Bhopal to Delhi, right? Only you are considering that. That is nothing but your H of n, right? But now you have to concentrate on another factor, that is nothing but G of n. What is G of n? When you are calculating of H of, from Hyderabad to Delhi, obviously the cost is 0 because you are in the initial state. Your beginning state is H. But whenever you reach to Nagpur, you are calculating N to D. That is nothing but your H of n. But you have to calculate also the cost from N to H. That is nothing but your G of n. Similarly, whenever you reach to Bhopal, you are calculating the straight line distance from Bhopal to Delhi. So you have to calculate from Bhopal to Hyderabad as well. Means Hyderabad to Bhopal. Whatever the cost you have incurred from Hyderabad to your Nagpur, and Nagpur to Bhopal, that cost also you have to calculate. That is treated as our G of n. And what we will do? We will add these two factors in order to get f of n. That is nothing but your addition of two-number program, right? First one, you have to concentrate from your initial state to the current state. Second one, concentrate on the current state to goal state, right? Try to understand. H of n is nothing but G of n is nothing but cost so far to reach n by assuming n is your current state. H of n is nothing but your current state to your goal state. So if you sum these, you will calculate f of n, which you can term as estimated total cost. So let us take an example to clear this idea. Okay, let me take the same example, right, so that the idea is more clear. So what you are doing in our previous search, that is greedy search, right? You are exploring A, right? Once you are expanding A, you are calculating the straight line distance from A to B, right? What is the straight line distance from A to B? The straight line distance from A to B is 366. So you have to consider two costs. Remember, here in the A star search, you have to concentrate on two things. One is distance from A to A and distance from A to B. Obviously, distance from A to A is 0, right? And the distance from A to B is 366. So this is nothing but your G of n. This is nothing but your H of n. And when you sum this value, you will get your f of n. Okay. Next, what I will do? The same process you do. You expand A. If you expand A, what you will get? You will get Z. You will get S. You will get T. So I am expanding. I am getting S and T and Z. So what I have to do here? In each and every node, I have to apply the evaluation function. Previously, my evaluation function is nothing but H of n. But now my evaluation function I have changed. That is nothing but H of n plus G of n, which we call as a f of n, right? So what I have to calculate? I have to calculate cost from, for calculation of this one, we have to calculate the cost from A to Z, A to S. First, I have to calculate A to S. My current state is S. I am writing current state in the form of a rectangle. So you have to calculate the cost from A to S. You have to calculate then cost from S to B, right? A to S value is called as your G of n. S to B value is called as your H of n. Then when you sum these two values, you will get a value f of n, right? So if you see in this diagram, they have written like this. So I have to calculate A to S. What is the distance from A to S? See A to S, what is the distance?
140.
You take the graph. The distance from A to S is 140, right? You do not take the straight line distance, because the straight line distance is from your current state to the goal state. So you have to see the map, right? A to S distance is 140, followed by S to B is nothing but your straight line distance. That is nothing but 253. Okay, so you will get 140 plus 253. Similarly, calculate for A, T, and Z. Calculate the apply the evolution function at T. You have to calculate A to T. A to T is nothing but your 118, right? First value is 118. Second is T to B. That is nothing but your 329. So total value you will get, total value you will get, your f of n you will get is 447. Similarly, you calculate for Z. The Z is nothing but here it is 75, right? And once you reach to Z, the cost is 374. So now you got f of n. So what you have to choose? Minimum f of n, right? Note that whatever your evaluation function is you are using, in every case you should not be minimized, right? For example, cost is there. Cost we generally minimize. For example, profit we need to maximize. There you have to choose a evaluation function where the profit is maximized. But for this problem, we have selected minimization, not maximization. So in this example, you got value 393, 447, and 449. So which one is minimum? 393 is minimum. So I have to select this particular part, S. Now, once you reach to S, again you will expand. You will get A, O, R, and F. So you got A, O, R, F. You got A, F, O, R. They are written in alphabetical order. Okay. So that is A, F, O, R. So what you have to do? Again, you have to calculate what? Again, you have to calculate the evaluation function at A, evaluation function at F, evaluation function at O, evaluation function at R. Calculate for R. Calculate for R. How will calculate? You have to calculate A to S, S to R. Don't be confused. This is in the second level. So you have to calculate from A to S, S to R. Let me calculate one. A to S, S to R. What is the cost? A to S cost is 140. S to R, right? Yes, S to R is how? What is the cost? 80. So 140 plus 80 is how much? 220. This cost is 220. Do not calculate. Don't calculate only S to R. You have to calculate from your initial state to the current state, right? Next, you have to calculate current state to your state number, your city number B, right? That is nothing but your goal state. That is the straight line distance. What is the straight line distance here? From R to it is 193. R to B is 193. So is it clear why this value is 220 plus 193? Otherwise,
Yes,
let me take another one. Let's say S to O, right? So I have to calculate A to S and S to O. So this is nothing but A to S and S to O. A to S, S to O. What is the cost? 140 plus 151. So it should be 291.
291.
Then after reaching O to B, what is the cost? 380. So I'm writing here 3. Like that, if you calculate this value, you will get 671. Again, note that this value is written wrongly in the book, the Arabic book. So this value is nothing but 417. So as it is it is not 176, 178 that I have highlighted here, right? So if you see, out of these four, which one is minimum? Which one is minimum? This cost is not 415. This is 417. 413 is minimum. Okay. So I have to select R. Okay, from S. So my path should be A, S, and R. Next, once you go for R, what you will do? You will expand R. Come to the map. When you expand R, what you will get? You will get S. You will get C. You will get P. Right? From R, you will get S. You will get C, and you will get P. 3 things you will get. Okay. So you are getting C, P, S, right? This is from R. Okay. R, you will get S, C, and P. Yes, S and C and P. Okay. What you have to do? Again, you apply the evaluation function. How will you apply the evaluation function at C? You have to calculate the cost from A to S, S to R, R to C, and that straight line distance from C to B. Right? Because C from A, S, R, C. A, S, R, C. A, S, R, then C. This part. 140 plus 80 plus 146. Please add. 140 plus 80 plus 146. This is nothing but 220, 320, 366. I think it is 366.
Yeah, 366.
Yes, 366. So once you reach C, what you have to calculate? From the straight line distance from C to B. That is nothing but our 160. So I will add 160. So what is the value I am getting here? 526. Similarly, I will try another value. You try P. ASRP. ASRP. This part.
317.
So it is 140, 80 is 220, 97. How much you are getting? 317.
Yeah, 317.
317. So it is written 317. Again, from P to, you have to calculate P to B. That is the straight line distance. P to B is nothing but 98.
98.
So I am taking 98. That is 98. Okay.
So it is 98.
So yes, again a printing mistake in the book. It is they have written 100. It should be 98. That's why I highlighted here, right? So the cost is now 415. So out of these three nodes, which one is minimum? P is minimum. So what I have to do? Again, I have to explore P, right? Again, I have to explore P. So when you explore P, what you will get? When you explore P, you will get R, you will get C, you will get B, but R and C is already explored, right? So if you see this problem, you are getting B, C, and R, right? In which B is your destination, right?
Yeah.
So what is the cost? How will calculate this cost? You have to calculate A to S, S to R, R to P, P to B.
Yes.
So if you sum all the values, you will get the value as 418. And again, the distance from B to B is 0, right? Because it is the goal state, so
Yeah.
the value is 0. Similarly, for cost C, you have to calculate A to S, S to R, R to P, and P to C. So the cost is nothing but 455, and the straight line distance from C to B is nothing but 160. Check once. Yes, it is 160. So you will get a solution where the f of n value is 418. Right? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let us take another path. Okay, because there is a property of A star which says that A star search is optimal, right? Optimal means what? I have many solutions, but I have to find the highest quality of solution. Okay.
More preferable.
5 students are there. 5 students are there. They appeared for some exam. Okay, I have to find who secured highest mark. All solutions are maybe better. All solutions are close to 2, means they are better. But I have to choose highest quality of solution. So see this diagram. In this previous diagram, I have expanded F also. Right? No doubt F is not being optimal. If you compare these two, F cost is 417, and R cost is 413. But I have expanded F. Why I have expanded F? Only to show you this is the optimal path. Okay, that's why you will expand. As for A star search, you have to expand only this part, right? This 413 part. But if you also expand F part or O part or any other part, you will never get a value less than 418. The final solution is 418. Yes, you will never get a value less than 418. For example, if you expand F, how much what are the cities you will get? You will get S and B. If you expand F, you will get S and B. So I am expanding F, I am getting S and B, right? I have calculated their G of N, I have calculated their H of N, I am getting 591. Here I am getting 450. Although this path A, S, F, B reaching the value 450. Okay, the cost is 450. This is also one of the solution, but this is not our optimal solution. As you know that this cost is 450, ASFB is 450, but ASRPB is 480. So we will another note you can make here that if the number of nodes, intermediate nodes are more, then it does not mean that the cost is more, right? For example, here ASFB. So SB are only intermediate node. If I am skipping the initial node and the final node, right? But in this case, ASRPB case, there are 3 intermediate nodes. So if the number of intermediate nodes is more, it does not mean that you will get lower cost path, right? So in this case, you got this is your optimal path. So this is the algorithm, right? I'll take only 2-3 minutes to explain the algorithm. You go through the algorithm. So A star maintain two lists, right? A star maintain two lists. One list is called as your open list. If you go through the algorithm, you will get only one list is called as open list. Another list is called as closed list, right? So initially, whenever you will start from your initial state, first what you will do, you will put a node in the open list. So when you start your search from Arad, okay, you have to put Arad in the open list, right? Then you will try to expand. You will expand A. When you expand A, what you will do? What you will get? S, T, and Z. So after getting S, T, and Z, A will not be expanded anymore. So A should be moved from open list to your closed list. And its expanded node, that is nothing but your S, T, and Z should be present in the open list. Okay, so A star maintain two different lists. One is open list, another is closed list. A initially will put all the nodes in the open list. After it is successfully expanded, you move it to the closed list. So I think the idea is clear of the A star search. So we have another 23 minutes. Sorry, 23 plus 5, 28 minutes. So I'll take another examples. Okay, these are the set of properties. You please go through it. Administrative property, completeness property, dominance property, and optimality property. I told you about this optimal property, and you are aware of this completeness property. Okay, let us take this as another example to clear your idea. So this I have collected from some internet source. So there is a point A and there is a point B. So here point A is not there. So this I am marking as a point A and there is a point B. Just the last, so this is a point B. This is red color, so it is not coming. So this is point B, right? So last lecture also, means yesterday's lecture, I told about Kurzweil problem. That is nothing but a 4x4, 16 squares are there. Okay, 4x4 layout, right? Like our chessboard is having 8x8 layout. So here also similar layout is there in a bigger size, right? So here we assume that some agent will move from A to B. He is present in state A, but he has to move. You have to apply some sort strategy in order to reach the solution B. Okay, and there is a wall. So this is the wall. There is a wall, right? So what is the meaning of wall? So you cannot bypass this wall. So you can go in any direction, right? Like this. Suppose somebody will go like this. It is okay, but you should not go like this because there is a wall, right? Wall is obstructing you, right? So there is an obstacle, right? So some other conditions also I will tell about this particular problem. So there is two status, just like a open list or closed list. Here also we maintain another status as a variable, that is walkable, another is unwalkable, right? So looking at all the reachable or walkable square adjacent to the start point, ignoring the square wall or whatever other illegal terrain. What it means? I will now expand this node. So this is my node A, right? I will expand the node A. When you expand the node A, what will happen? Your neighbor node will come, right? Which node is the neighbor node? These are the neighbor nodes, right? How many neighbor nodes are there? 8 nodes are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So total 8 number of neighbor nodes are there of a start node A, right? Start node A having 8 neighbor nodes. Now, so how we will calculate the cost? So you know, as it is a star search, what you have to calculate? You have to calculate as a star search. You have to calculate f of n is nothing but your g of n, right? G factor, that is g of n plus your h of n, right? So in order to calculate that, so we have taken some cost value, right? What is the cost value? They are saying we will assign a cost of 10 if it is a horizontal move or a vertical move. What is the horizontal move? Suppose somebody is moving here to here, so the cost is 10. Somebody is moving here to here, the cost is 10. Okay, but somebody is moving from here to here, it is a diagonal move. Diagonal move means the cost is 14. So here we have considered the Manhattan distance. This Manhattan distance is also called as a city block distance. City block distance means, for example, let us take this example. This is A and this is your B, right? This node is B. It is not coming as it is a red color, right? So B. So what is the distance from this city to this city? By, let's say there is no wall. So you will say A to this node 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right? By ignoring the wall, if I find the city block distance, this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right? So we are using the Manhattan distance. So there is some constant they have used. They have considered that while they are calculating the g of n value, when they are calculating the g of n value, diagonal move is allowed. But whenever they are calculating h of n value, the diagonal value is not considered. Okay, this is a constraint. Whether you if you are taking some other problem, you can ignore it. Okay, so whenever you are calculating g of n, diagonal is allowed. But whenever you are going for h of n, diagonal move is not allowed. And another constant is that whenever you are calculating this cost, you are ignoring the wall. This wall you have to ignore in order to calculate the cost. It is mentioned by, this problem is defined by somebody. So they have already specified these are the constants. Now come to this diagram. Let us see whatever we discussed will conclude right here. So see from this here, you have 3 values in each and every. In each and every box, you have 3 values. One value is written here, another value is here, another value is here. So this value is nothing but, the top value is nothing but the sum of the bottom 2 values, where first value represent your g of n, second value represent your h of n. What is g of n? Distance from Hyderabad to Nagpur, if Nagpur is your current state. What is 30? That is nothing but Nagpur to New Delhi. Right, what you calculated in the previous example, that is nothing but your straight line distance, right? So what is the cost from this node to this node? This is a horizontal move, right? If it is a horizontal move, the cost is 10. But once you reach to this state, what is the distance from this particular state to this particular goal node? You have to move from here to here, here to here, here to here. As all the moves are horizontal only, the cost is 10 plus 10 plus 10. So that is nothing but 30. Is it clear? Initial state to the current state is 10, right? Once you reach to the current state, the distance from current state to the goal state is 3 horizontal moves. Each horizontal move is 10, so it is 30. So the cost is 10 plus 30 is nothing but 40. So f of n value is 40. Similarly, see, calculate this cost. So this is a diagonal move. So if there is a diagonal move, what is the cost? The cost is 14. So this is your current state now. From this current state, what is the cost of reaching the goal state? You can move here to here, horizontal move, again a horizontal move, again a horizontal move, then there is a vertical move. See, in this, while you are calculating this h of n, I am not considering the diagonal move. One may say that I will move from here to here, here to here, then I will go diagonally. But this move is not allowed as per the problem domain, right? So I have calculated 10 cost for this horizontal move, another 10, another 10, and there is a vertical move. So the cost is 40. So as the cost is the g of n is your 14, h of n is your 40. So f of n value is nothing but your 54. Similarly, you explore all the nodes, right? All the neighbor nodes only. Once you explore the neighbor nodes, which value is minimum? If you see, this value is 74, 60, 54, 40, 60, 74, 60, and 54. Which value is minimum? 50 is minimum. So I have to move from this node to its neighbor node, right? So in the next slide, if you see, there is a move from the start state to this particular state, right? So once you reach this particular state, what you will do? Again, you will find the neighbor node. So now the current state is this one. This is your start state. That is nothing but your A. Okay. So once you reach to C, you will explore your neighbor node. What are the neighbor nodes? So this box is nothing but your neighbor nodes. Right? This is nothing but your neighbor nodes. Right? So in this neighbor nodes, there is a wall. Right? So they consider that this wall they will ignore. Right? As there is a wall, you will not calculate the cost. But rest cost you have already calculated, right? Rest cost you have calculated, or from this particular state I have to again calculate, right? From this node to, for example, this particular node to here. What is the cost? The cost is 10, right? The cost is 10, right? If it is your current state, okay. If I want to make this is my current state, this let me write as a C dash. Initially you are in the initial state, then you move to this one, then you have to find your next state, right? Like that you have to proceed until unless you reach to your final state. So you have to calculate the cost from here to this C to C dash. C to C dash, the movement is nothing but a vertical move. So the cost is 10, right? So once you reach to here, again you calculate the cost from this C dash to your goal node B, right? Like that you have to proceed. But what happened here, try to understand. So the cost from A to B, what is the cost? The cost from A to B, it is 10, right? What is the cost from this, A to C? Let me write, this is C. What is the cost from A to C? It is 10. What is the cost from C to C dash? It is again 10. What is the total cost you are incurring to reach C dash? It is nothing but 20. But we have seen that if you directly move from A to C dash, if you move directly from A to C dash, what is the cost? The cost is 14. So this move is ignored and we will directly move from A to C dash. So this is the beauty of A star algorithm. That's why it is giving you optimal performance. So like that you proceed. So as time is not there, I am not exploring how we will reach to B. But if you explore each and every node, then finally you will get a solution like this. So this is the solution. This is the start state. You have to go like this to reach the final state B. So you please do as an exercise or as an assignment in each and every step. If you are facing any difficulties, you please tell me. Okay. Next, come to the admissible heuristic. This admissible is a properties. Okay. So I will tell you what is the meaning of admissible heuristic. So there is a 8 puzzle game, right? We have played in our childhood this 8 puzzle game. So what is 8 puzzle game? Initially it is in some random order, right? Not necessarily this particular order, in any random order, but finally you have to arrange like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is your goal state. Once you reach from your initial state to this goal state, your search is successful. So here I have taken 2 heuristics. One is H1 of n, another is your H2 of n. What H1 of n indicates? H1 of indicates that number of misplaced tiles. What is misplaced tiles? This is the position of 1. If you see first position, 7 is there. But what is the position meant for? The position is meant for 1, right? So here there is a misplace, right? But if you see this one, here initial state you have 2, but in the goal state it is also 2. So there is a match. So no need to change 2 2. So it is in the proper position. You will change. In order to reach, you have to change. That is based upon your step-by-step calculation. But initially it is same, right? So it is in proper position. So that is nothing but your H of n. So you check how many tiles are in wrong position. 7 is in wrong position. 4 is in wrong position. Then 5 is in wrong position. 8 is wrong position. 3 is wrong position. 1 is wrong position. Total number of misplaced tiles is 6. 6 tiles are not placed in their proper position. That is nothing but our H1 of n. Second one says that H2 of n. H2 of n is nothing but calculating the Manhattan distance. This Manhattan distance is same as your city block distance. Just now you have calculated city block distance. So let me take the first one. Okay. First one is 7. So 7 need to move how many blocks in order to reach its final state? Initially 7 is present here. Okay. Let us take from 1. Okay. 1 is present here, right? But 1's proper position is here. Try to understand, once initial position is here, 1 should be present in this position. So what should be the Manhattan distance? 1. From here to here 2, here to here 3, here to here 4. So that it will present here. That's why it is written 4 here. And 2 is present in the proper position. That's why the value is 0 here. Now come to 3. Where is 3? Here 3 is there. So here 3 is there, right? Where it should appear? It should appear here. What should be the distance? Here to here 1, here to here 2, here to here 3, right? So the value is 3 here. Similarly, you calculate for other tiles, you will get the value as 14, right? Okay. So a typical solution for this particular problem says that Always this typical solution varies with respect to your initial arrangement, but in overall way it says that within 20 steps you can reach from initial step to final step. So this is already given, okay. How we will reach, it is based upon the experience. This is a rough calculation only, right? So here I have considered what is the branching factor. I told you in the previous case, if a root node is having 2 children, having branching factor 2. If a root node is having 3 children, so it is a branching factor of 3. So here, what is the branching factor? Let us see. For example, I am concentrating this node. I am putting a cross mark. What is the branching factor? You can move 1 this side, 2 this side, 3 this side, 4 this side. Diagonal move is not allowed. So branching factor is 4. Right? Let us consider this node. Right? What is the branching factor? You can move this side, this side. Diagonal move is not allowed. Branching factor is 2. You concentrate on this node. What is the branching factor? This side, and this side. So our branching factor is 3. So we have 3 branching factor in this 8 puzzle game. One is 4, another is 3, another is 2. Right? So if you see this one, 4, 3, and 2, roughly we have taken the branching factor is 3. Let us not take 4, 3, 2 to confuse. So roughly they have calculated 3. So if you see your solution is appear in the depth 20, okay, as there are total number of steps is 20, we have 3 to the power 20. It is a very big number, right? That is nothing but 3.5 into 10 to the power 9. Where initial arrangement, if you see, as there are 9 positions are there, the initial arrangement is 9 factorial. If n positions are there, we have n factorial. So there are only 9 factorial different arrangements are there with respect to 9 squares. But in exhaustive sorts, if you are applying, exhaustive sorts with respect to the depth of 20, then the total number of states you will get, that is 3 to the power 20 is nothing but 3.5 into 10 to the 9 states. So you can relax this problem. One can say that relax this problem means one can say that 3 can move. 3 can move directly to 1. So this is one of the relaxed problem, right? One may say that 7 can also move in 1, right? That may be considered as a relaxed problem. So you go through this one. Okay. Now come to an interesting search. I have another 12 minutes. Let me concentrate 5 minutes in this search. So there is a simplified memory bound A star search, right? So I told you in the first lecture, in Dr. Manjuwala madam's lecture, I told we simply assume that our memory is infinite. So what happened? Our memory is finite. For example, if you take this example of SMA star, we have only 3 memory. So at a time you can keep 3 locations, not more than that, right? If you want to include someone, you have to exclude someone. Just like in our workshop, we have 200 participants. We will not allow 201 participants. If 201 participants want to enter into our session, we have to remove someone, right? So initially, I am putting A here, right? So one location is occupied. Rest 2 location I can store. Other location I cannot store, right? So initially, if you calculate this cost is nothing but what? Same concept. That is nothing but G of n plus H of n. So here f of n is written in the right side. Previous examples, f of n is written in the left side, right? So this value is 0 because you are initial state. So what is the goal cost from A to? So these are the goal cost, goal nodes, right? Here you have multiple goals, right? The square indicates there is a goal node. So from the goal node calculation, we are calculating the straight line distance from A to one of the goal. Let's say the cost is 12. So I have calculated my cost 12. As there is no competitor, so there is no problem. Now I am expanding A. If I am expanding A, what I am getting? B and G, right? I am checking. I am entering B here. I am entering G here, right? Now my memory is fully occupied, and B is not my goal node. G is also not my goal node because they are not represented in the form of square, right? So I am calculating the cost. If I calculate the cost at node B, what is the cost here? A to B. The A to B cost is 10, and the cost from B to the goal node G is 5. Let us assume that from the cost from B to G is 5. So total cost is 15. Similarly, you calculate the cost here. What is the path cost from A to G? A to G path cost is 8, and from G to one of the goal, the cost is 5. What value you are getting here? 13. So here value is 15. Here value is 13. Among them, which one is minimum? G is minimum. So I am skipping D. So I have to remove B from memory because I have only 3 memory. If memory is infinite, there is no problem. So as memory is not infinite, in order to proceed further, what I have to do? I have to remove someone. So I have removed B and I have inserted H into my memory, right? So I am suddenly next time calculating what is the cost. A to G cost is 8, G to H cost is 8, that is nothing but 16, and H to one of the goal cost is let's say 2, so the value is 18, and there is no competitor because I cannot save I. Okay, I cannot I save because I have only 3 memory. I have to remove someone. I cannot remove G. Once you remove G means you cannot remove a parent, right?
Sir, what is 2 here? What is 2 here?
2 is the distance from H to your goal node, right?
Okay, sir.
Okay, but if you see here, after calculating the evaluation function, H is not your goal node, right? So H you can remove. H I have removed. What I will do next? I have inserted another child. What is the next child? I. I cannot remove G. I cannot remove A. Okay, so I am inserting I. So once I am inserting I, what is the cost? This cost is 8. This cost is 16. So 8 plus 16 is how much? 24. And this is the goal node. Goal node means what? The distance from B to B. Previous example you have seen. The CTB, you are present in CTB and you are finding the distance from B to B. The value is 0. So you are getting the value 24. So 24 is one of the solution. You can say it is a solution, but you cannot claim this 24 is a best solution. So what I have to do for this, I'll record somewhere that A, G, and I is giving me a cost of 24, right? Then what I'll do, I'll remove I and G from memory, and I'll again insert A is already there in the memory. I have again inserted B into the memory. Once I'll insert B into the memory, one memory is left, so I am inserting C here. Once I insert C, C is not my goal node, so I am again removing C, and I am exploring the next node, that is D. That also gives me a solution. But the path cost is 10 plus 10 is 20. When D is a goal node, the cost is 0, so you are achieving a value of 20. So the path from A to B to your D is nothing but 20. So this is a better path in comparison to the previous path, and it is the best path, right? It is an optimal path because our limit is 3, so we cannot go further. So in the depth limit search, whatever madam told, so that is nothing but you are specifying a particular limit. Here I am specifying a limit. I cannot go to EF, although there is a goal node here. F is a goal node, J is a goal node. I cannot reach because it requires minimum memory of 4, right? So this is called is a simplified memory bounded A stars algorithm. Okay, this search I have written. So let me focus on the last topic of today's in this session. So we have 7 minutes. So we'll go for AND OR graph. What AND OR graph says, I will tell you the concept and I will go through an example directly. So suppose I want a TV, right? I need a TV at my home. So what I will do? One person will say, you steal the TV from someone's house. So that is one of the solution. Another person says that you earn money. You do hard work. You earn money, and after earning the money, you purchase the TV or you buy the TV, right? So what we are doing in the previous example, that is an AND graph. The previous example, it is an OR graph, right? OR graph means whenever you are taking A, okay, A is having S is a city, T is a city, Z is a city. So S is a solution, T is a solution, Z is a solution. You are picking one of the solution. But in AND OR graph, it is saying you choose S or you choose T and Z, right? You steal the TV also makes a solution, or you have to earn money and buy the TV. That's why it is represented by a arc here. This arc indicates if both objectives are satisfied, then only your goal is achieved. You have to achieve both objectives, otherwise your search is not successful. So that's why it is called as your AND OR graph. Let us take this example, and each edge, these are called as your edge, that is nothing but connecting two different nodes. These cost I am assuming 1. For example, B and C. What is the cost? B cost is let's say 3, C cost is 4. What is the cost of A? 3 plus 4, this edge is 1, this edge is 1. So 3 plus 4 plus 1 plus 1, that is nothing but 9. So B, C can together give a solution if the cost is 9. At the same time, D also provide a solution, but the cost is how much? The cost is only 5. So now come to this particular example, a little bit big example in which come to this particular note, right? So B objective is satisfied if you will take E and F at the same time. So E cost is 5, F cost is 10. So 5 plus 10, this edge is 1, this edge is another 1. So the cost is 17, right? So if A is following this particular path, it will get a solution with B up to B, from B it is 17 and this link is 1. So one solution is 18. If you follow this particular path, it will provide you a solution with 18. But if you follow the next path, you have to take CD combinedly. What is the cost of C? I can calculate from GH, that is nothing but 3 plus 4 plus 1 plus 1, that is 9. Similarly, D I can calculate 15 plus 10 plus 1 plus 1, that is 27. And this is also a AND one. So that is nothing but 9 plus 27 is how much? 36 plus this edge and this edge, that is nothing but 38. So in this case, you are getting a solution with a cost of 18. In this case, you are getting a cost of 38. So obviously, you will choose this particular path. But what is the new thing here? You are achieving an objective by combining two different paths, right? This is the basic of AND OR graph algorithm. So let us see this illustration. So initially, the cost is A cost is 8. So I am taking A cost is 8, right? Then I am expanding A. If I expand A, I will get B, C, and D. But if you are following B path, you have to also follow C path because there is a AND operation. Okay. But if you are following B path, that is an independent path. So now come to this example. When I will expand B and C and D, what is the cost? I will get this cost is 8. This A cost is 8. And A to B cost is how much? 4. So until whenever you will reach B, the cost is updated to 12. I have not considered till now C. When you consider C, we will update the value. So 8 plus 4 is 12. But on the other hand, if you see D, so this cost is 5. Okay, this cost is 5 and A cost is 8. So 8 plus 5 is 13. Right? A cost is, here I have written, 12 indicates 8 is the cost of A and A to B cost is your 4. 13 indicates A cost is 8 and this cost is A to D communication cost is your 5. Now let us go to the next iteration. Next I have again explored. So from B, if you calculate the cost, what is the cost? The cost is nothing but 2. 2 is nothing but the communication from B to C and C cost is again 2. So this cost is 4. Now come to this A cost. A objective is fulfilled by combining the objective of B and C, or you can choose D. So if you see this one, I have to consider A cost, A to B cost, A to C cost. Okay, sorry, yes, A cost. Okay, A to B cost, A to C cost, and the cost of B and cost of C. So if you calculate that, this is 4 plus 5 plus 4 plus 5 plus this node cost is 4 and C cost is 2. So together we are getting a cost of 15, which is a longer path. But if you go this particular path, your cost is 13. So obviously we will choose this particular path in order to reach the solution. So you go on iterating. So finally you will get the solution like this. This is the particular path you will get. Okay. So this is all about today's this session presentation. So now this is the algorithm. Please go through it. Okay, now I'll take a few questions. Okay, let me take some questions from the beginning. What are the criteria to find the optimal solution? Okay, so in a particular algorithm, generally, sir, we are considering heuristic. These are called as generally heuristic. So as the definition of heuristic says that heuristic provides solution for a particular problem. Like I told you yesterday's one example. Suppose in India, driver is sitting in the right side. So I have designed some algorithm for taxi driver problem, right? The same algorithm I cannot apply in Britain and Japan, in which driver is sitting in the left side. So whatever we are concentrating on here, in this particular case, these are heuristics. Heuristic will give the solution based upon a particular environment. If environment is changed, heuristic may not provide solution also. That's why people are nowadays applying meta heuristic approaches like genetic algorithm. In the morning session, madam has covered TLBO, teaching learning based algorithm, or an improvement over TLBO algorithm, that is Joya algorithm. These are the algorithms are used in today's researchers. Nowadays people are using this search algorithm. These are the meta heuristic approaches which gives the value which is close to optimal solution. So in this solution, optimal solution may not be guaranteed, but A star is giving an optimal solution because whatever the solution it is giving, you cannot minimize anymore. Suppose the value is 418, you apply any search algorithm, you will not get a value less than 418. So that's why we claim it is a optimal solution. So 170 is right. I check Russell and Narvik. Okay. So maybe in the updated version of the Russell Narvik book, the print mistake is corrected. But whatever version I have, whatever edition I have, in that the value is wrong. B is reference. Okay. How is the distance? S2A is 253. S2A is 253. Madam, which slide? Let me check. S2A. Sorry. S2A is 253. How S2A is 253? Where it is S2A is 253. S2A again. Okay, S2A is 366 here. Let me check in Xstar search. S2A is 366. Madam, from R2, once you calculate the cost from A to S and S to A to B, the cost is 366. You check. A to B, the straight line cost is 366. That's why the value is 366. Okay, let me take some other questions. These references, okay. There is a distance from S to B. Yes. Anisa has successfully answered the question. How to select the reference node in initial condition? Reference node. Initial reference node is your start state is your parent node only. We are visualizing each problem in the form of a graph. So obviously the starting point is your reference node. Here, what is our goal node? In the first case, the goal node is B, and in the second example also it is B, right? So B is our goal node. Unless you reach B, you have to iterate. But while representing a tree, we tend to represent sequence as level, right? But while representing a tree, okay, we tend to represent sequences as level. We tend to represent sequences as level. Yes, whenever you are exploring, you are representing in the form of levels only. There is no problem. Can we visit all city node and find the optimal task? Yes, there is an exhaustive search, right? So I told you yesterday also one example. Like I have 4 tasks and 2 machines, right? If you go for 2 to the power 4, that is 16 possible solutions. One of them is optimal. But what you will do if it is there is 16 machine and 512 tasks? 16 to the power 512. Or even I will relax it 10 to the power 512. 10 to the power 512 solutions, it is practically not possible. So you cannot go through 10 to the power 512. I have taken an example, right? So 10 to the power 512, if each solution is giving 1 second, each solution is taking 1 second, then 10 to the power 512 will take so many seconds, right? So many years required to solve the problem. Single source shortest path algorithm, single source, yes, single source, yes, it is a single source shortest path algorithm. How are the weights considered between two nodes? Sir, these weights are already defined in the Romania map. This is a random weights only. So there is for a particular problem, if you are representing a new problem, you specify the road. For example, I say Bhubaneswar to, let's say, my hometown Berhampur, the distance is 174 kilometers. So I'll say each kilometer is a cost of 1, so I'll take 174. But in this graph, this is already specified in the Romania map, so we have taken directly from there. There is no logic behind it. Sir, can you provide us the recording by classes? Yes, I'll do it because I'm not getting time because I have 3 lectures today. So I have to prepare for these 3 lectures yesterday. So please give me some time. So after that, I'll share the lecture. So I hope I have cleared all your doubts. So we'll again resume the session at 2 p.m. and session will be live at 1:45 onwards.